One of the most famous prisoners in history is the mysterious 17th century French prisoner dubbed the Iron Mask. The protagonist of books and films, his story and unknown identity have fueled the imagination. But why? And how did his story become a legend? In July of 1669, Bénigne d'Auvergne de Saint-Mars, the governor of the prison of Pignerol, received a missive from Louis XIV's Minister of War, the Marquis de Louvois, informing him to expect the imminent arrival of a prisoner, a valet named Eustache d'Auger. The letter further commanded Saint-Mars to prepare a special cell with double doors and prohibit anyone wishing to speak to the prisoner under penalty of death. The exact date of the arrest is unknown. d'Auger was captured either in 1669 or 1670 at Calais and was subsequently brought to Pignerol. The fortress held prisoners considered an embarrassment to the monarch and the state. Among others was the famed former finance minister, Nicolas Fouquet. The prisoner was separated from these inmates wearing a black velvet mask to conceal his identity. d'Auger would remain in the care of Saint-Mars for the subsequent 34 years of his arrest, moving with his jailer from prison to prison until his death at the Bastille in 1703. The prison register of the Bastille, held by Etienne du Joncat, noted that an unknown prisoner wearing a velvet mask who had arrived at Saint-Mars was buried on the 20th of November under the name of Marquiel. The rumors concerning the prisoner's secretive identity had begun already during his lifetime. In 1687, an illegal Janseniste gazette noted Saint-Mars's passage from the prison of Pignerol to the Ile Sainte-Marguerite with a prisoner. It emphasized the mystery of the inmate and his wearing an iron mask. On the 22nd of October, 1711, the Princess of Palatine, sister-in-law to the king, wrote to her aunt, Sophie of Hanover, about the man in the iron mask. Despite never having met him, her only knowledge of the prisoner derived from court gossip. Perhaps the most important purveyor of the rumor was the French philosopher Voltaire, in a bid to criticize the absolute monarchy. In his 1751 Century of Louis XIV treatise, he aimed to show the spirit of the time, establishing that the prisoner wore an iron mask rather than velvet. Over the years, multiple hypotheses have been proposed in an attempt to identify the prisoner, from Louis XIV's twin brother to a criminal implicated in the poison affair. However, perhaps more interesting than the identity of the prisoner is the phenomenon that such a secret aroused. A well-kept secret was amplified by popular imagination, surpassing the actual importance of the event. The case of the iron, or rather velvet mask, teaches us more about the French society of the time, or much like Voltaire stated, its spirit. The absolute monarchy, its power, and the atmosphere in which it existed, all permitted the spread of such a rumor. The Gazette, which first mentioned the prisoner and his alleged iron mask to the public, was of a Jansenist origin, a religious group hostile to the French king and thus persecuted by him. The Princess of Palatine expressed an interest in the prisoner. However, 40 years later, he would become a tool for Voltaire's criticism of absolutism and represent its repression in the propaganda of the French Revolution, which negated the rights of the aristocrats. The wide-ranging interest in the story explains how it became a myth. It was established as a myth not necessarily because of the secret identity of the prisoner, but rather this mysterious identity and the popular imagination it ignited allowed diverse people and parties to use this myth to spread their ideologies, further fueling the cycle of the myth.